The meaning of an event is not fixed. It is determined by the frame you put around it. You have likely found yourself in a conversation where you felt you were losing ground. You were not wrong on the facts. You were not less intelligent than the person attacking you. Yet, you felt a sudden need to explain yourself. You felt the defensive urge to justify your actions. This is not a failure of logic. It is a failure of framing. You entered the interaction, assuming that reality was objective. You were wrong. In social dynamics, there is no objective reality. There is only the dominant interpretation. When you accept someone else's interpretation of your behavior, you submit to their frame. You hand over your psychological sovereignty. You are not weak, and you are not broken. You are simply playing by rules that were written to keep you in a state of reaction. It is time to burn that rule book. To understand how to reclaim this power, we must explore the mechanics of Neuro-Linguistic Programming, or NLP. At the core of this discipline is the concept of reframing. Imagine a photograph of a man yelling. If you put a frame around it that says abuse, the man looks like a villain. If you put a frame around it that says warning his child about a car, the man looks like a hero. The image did not change. The pixels remained exactly the same, only the frame changed. In your interactions, the pixels are the words and actions. The frame is the context you assign to them. Most men allow the world to frame them. They allow their partner, their boss, or society to caption their photograph. This brings us to the concept of interpretative dominance. In any human interaction, the person with the strongest belief in their own reality wins. Evolution favors the leader who can define the situation for the tribe. If a loud noise is heard in the dark, the tribe looks to the leader. If the leader frames it as wind, the tribe relaxes. If the leader frames it as danger, the tribe prepares for war. The leader holds interpretative dominance. In your personal life, when you are challenged, you are being tested on this exact dominance. When someone throws a verbal jab or a shit test your way, they are asking a subconscious question. They are asking if your reality is strong enough to withstand their chaos. If you become defensive, you answer no. There are two primary ways to shift the narrative: context reframing and content reframing. Context reframing takes a behavior that seems negative and finds a situation where it would be positive. Content reframing changes the meaning of the behavior itself. You must master both to maintain your status. When you lose your frame, you experience frame collapse. This is the sinking feeling in your stomach. It is the sudden spike of cortisol that tells you that you are in social danger. Most men try to fight this by arguing facts. They bring out spreadsheets and logic to prove they are right. This is futile. You cannot use logic to defeat a frame. You must use a superior frame to swallow the inferior one. Let us look at applied insights to see how this works in the heat of conflict. A common scenario involves a partner or a date accusing you of a negative trait. She might say, "You are obsessed with work. You never have time for fun." The average male hears this frame: "I am a neglectful person who is boring." He immediately defends himself. He says, "No, I'm not. I took you out last week." He has already lost. He accepted her frame and is now trying to prove his innocence within it. The high-value male uses a content reframe. He changes the meaning of obsession to dedication. He replies, "I am building an empire, not a hobby. That requires focus." Notice what happened there. He did not apologize.
He did not deny the fact that he works a lot. He accepted the fact, but rejected the meaning. In her frame,
Work was a negative distraction. In his frame, work is a noble mission. By stating this calmly and without anger, he invites her to join his reality. He signals that his mission is more important than her temporary complaint. This is not about being callous. It is about having a hierarchy of values that cannot be shaken by an emotional storm. If you apologize for your ambition, you kill her respect for you. She is testing your resolve. She wants to know if you can be pulled off your path. When you stay on the path, you pass the test. Another powerful application is distinguishing between tone and facts. During a conflict, people often use an aggressive or sarcastic tone to unsettle you. They want you to react to the emotion, not the content. The moment you get angry at their tone, you are reacting. You are following. To control the conversation, you must ignore the tone entirely. Strip the statement of all emotion and respond only to the dry facts. If someone shouts, "You are an idiot for forgetting this," do not respond to the insult. Respond to the data. Simply say, "The task was overlooked. It will be corrected now." This creates a frame friction. Their frame is hot and chaotic. Your frame is cold and structured. The contrast highlights their lack of control. You become the adult in the room. We must also discuss the technique of deliberate misinterpretation. This is often called agree and amplify, or the flirtation reframe. It is highly effective in dating dynamics. If a woman insults you or challenges you, she is trying to see if you have a fragile ego. She says, "You are so arrogant." The defensive man gets hurt. The cold mind reframes this insult as hidden attraction. He assumes that everything she says is because she is fascinated by him.
He might reply, "I know, it is difficult to handle this much confidence, but you are doing well." He takes the energy of her attack and uses it to fuel his own vanity. He does not get defensive, he gets amused. Amusement is a high-status emotion. It implies that you are above the threat. These strategies require you to abandon the need to be understood. Many men fall into the trap of over-explaining because they desperately want the other person to see their point of view. This is a validation trap. You do not need them to understand your frame. You just need to hold it. When you stop trying to convince them, you stop giving away your power. You simply state your reality and let it hang in the air. The silence that follows is your ally. In that silence, the other person has to grapple with your certainty. They will often feel the gravitational pull of your confidence and align with you naturally. To build this skill safely, you can use the yes and technique from improvisational theater. This is a mental drill you can practice in low-stakes conversations. When someone states a reality you dislike, do not start your sentence with "no" or "but." These words build walls. They create resistance. Instead, start with "yes and." This acknowledges their reality, but immediately adds your own direction to it. If a colleague says, "This project is going to be a disaster," do not say, "No, it won't." Say, "Yes, it is a massive challenge, and that is why it will define our careers when we solve it." You absorbed their fear and transmuted it into opportunity. You took the lead without a fight. Another internal practice is the benign interpretation. This is a cognitive discipline. Throughout your day, you will encounter ambiguous signals. A friend does not text back. A stranger looks at you strangely. The anxious mind frames these as rejection or aggression. You must consciously practice reframing them as benign or positive.
The friend is busy building their life. The stranger is intimidated by your presence. This is not about lying to yourself. It is about choosing the utility of your thoughts. A brain that interprets ambiguity as favorable is a brain that produces serotonin. A brain that interprets ambiguity as hostile produces cortisol. You choose your chemical state by choosing your frame. There is a myth that reframing is a form of gaslighting or manipulation. This is false. Gaslighting is denying reality to make someone crazy. Reframing is offering a more empowering perspective on reality to move forward. You are not denying that an event happened. You are simply refusing to view it through a lens of victimhood or weakness. When you refuse to be a victim, you liberate not just yourself, but the people around you. People are tired of negativity. They are tired of problems. When you offer a frame of solution and strength, people flock to you. You become a source of stability in a chaotic world. Consider the example of a man who is fired from his job. The weak frame is, "I am a failure. I have lost my security." This frame leads to depression and paralysis. The strong frame is, "I have been given total freedom. I'm no longer held back by a salary cap." This frame leads to action and entrepreneurship. The event was identical. Employment ceased. The outcome is determined entirely by the frame. The man who holds the second frame will likely be successful within a year. The man who holds the first frame will still be complaining. This is the difference between an NPC and a protagonist. You must understand that the world is constantly trying to frame you as a consumer, a victim, or a subordinate. Advertisers frame you as lacking, so you will buy. Politicians frame you as oppressed, so you will vote. Your toxic ex frames you as the villain, so she feels guiltless. If you do not actively impose your own frame, you will become a patchwork of other people's agendas. You will wake up one day and realize you are living a life designed by everyone except you. Frame control is not just a conversation trick. It is the primary defense of your identity. Start listening to the assumptions behind people's words. When someone asks, "Why are you being so difficult?" the assumption is that you are difficult. Do not answer the why. If you answer the why, you accept the premise. Challenge the premise. Reframe it. "I am not being difficult. I am being thorough." There is a difference. You must catch these linguistic traps before you step into them. It requires hyper-awareness. It requires you to slow down. The predator does not rush. He listens, he analyzes, and then he strikes with precision. Your takeaway is to stop seeking consensus on reality. You do not need the other person to agree that you are right. You only need to know it yourself. When you stop fighting for agreement, you stop looking desperate. You become an unshakable pillar. The next time you feel the urge to defend yourself, stop. Take a breath. Look at the frame they have handed you. Is it a frame that serves you? If not, do not step inside it. Smash it. Build a new one. Ask yourself, what else could this mean? And choose the meaning that gives you the most power. Never accept her frame. Always impose yours. Are you ready to become the author of your own story?